YouTube, what is good? It's your boy Omar with No Jum No Sports, and today I've decided in this really kind of boring month I've been having right now, not been able to do a lot lately, still waiting for my new job to start, figured I'd start making some videos again about sports, all kinds of sports, and I'm here today. Of course, it's July 31st, the MLB trade deadline. New this year in baseball, there's only one trade deadline. There are no more waiver trades going up until August 31st. So whatever your team looks like tonight, that's your team. Get used to it, accept it, or if you're a Houston Astros fan, celebrate it. And we'll get into that in a second. I'm just going to basically go through some of the bigger trades, break down my thoughts, and you guys know I'm a Mets fan, so maybe give a little bit of a thought as to what we did, and then go from there. So we'll start off with the big boy, which happened right on the 4 o'clock deadline, 4 o'clock Eastern pretty much. The Houston Astros acquired Zach Greinke from the Diamondbacks. They gave up Corbin Martin, J.B. Bukowskis, I believe is how you pronounce that, Seth Beer, and Joshua Rojas. So basically, I understand that I'm sure the Diamondbacks will get a lot out of these four guys, but it's a win. It's definitely a win for the Houston Astros. You're looking at a team that already has Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole in place. Now they can go ahead and add another arm like Zach Greinke in. And in a 7-game series in the playoffs, that might be the only 3 pitchers that you face. So their bullpen, which hasn't been as good as past years, now is not as necessary to at least be elite. Obviously, you need your bullpen to still be serviceable. But with those 3 dudes on the mound, Verlander, Cole, and Greinke, I mean, that is goddamn nasty. And they paid, a good price to get him. Corbin Martin, although he's hurt and underwent surgery, is a very promising pitcher. There's some talent with the other 3 guys as well. But they were able to avoid trading their big names like Kyle Tucker and Forrest Whitley. Whether or not you think those guys will actually amount to anything as the top prospects for the Astros remains to be seen. But the bottom line is that, again, Houston has the top 3 of a lifetime with their 3 pitchers, and that's what you want going into the postseason. So in my mind, I'm not saying the Diamondbacks lost per se, and they definitely save a lot of money. But it's got to be a win for the Astros. They make the big move. Also a big move, which took place last night, a little bit of a confusing move in a way, was a move between 3 teams. So the Cleveland Indians went out and decided that they were going to trade Trevor Bauer after all. And Trevor Bauer gets moved as part of a 3-team deal with the San Diego Padres and the Cincinnati Reds. Trevor Bauer ends up on the Reds. The San Diego Padres gave up actually quite a bit. They gave up Franmil Reyes, Logan Allen, and Victor Nova in order to get Taylor Trammell, a top prospect, and then Yasiel Puig and Scott Moss end up on the Cleveland Indians. Those 2 do end up on the Cleveland Indians, but they also get 3 players from the San Diego Padres. So really, I think this is a huge win for Cleveland. I understand giving up Trevor Bauer is not the easiest move. We know he's a bit of a nutcase. You can say what you want about his Twitter. I think he's repulsive, to be honest. But they made a move, and they got a lot of value back. I like Franmil Reyes for them. Logan Allen, I'm kind of wishy-washy on. But regardless, to get 5 players for Trevor Bauer in this trade, I understand that, Trevor Bauer is probably the best of those players, but it's a lot of good value, especially I really love Franmil Reyes for them. I think he's going to be a great right-handed power bat for them. And as far as the Cincinnati Reds go, I like it for them too. Trevor Bauer is a really good pitcher. I think he's not as bad of a pitcher as he's been this year. That being said, they do give up Taylor Trammell, who's a high prospect. It looked like the Padres may try to move him in a different deal today, but that didn't end up happening. And we'll see, where we go from there. Now, to get to my New York Mets, they were the ones that kind of shocked everybody on Sunday, trading for Marcus Stroman. So the deal was Marcus Stroman for prospect pitchers Simeon Woods Richardson and Anthony Kay. Personally, as a Met fan, when people see the prospects that we've given up in these trades, and they see that where they're ranked in our system, like number 2 and number 4, like Kay and Richardson. They freak out. But currently, the New York Mets, I can tell you from fan experience, have a very awful, shitty system. I mean, we just do. So when you see the 2nd and 4th prospects coming out of our system, yeah, obviously it weakens our system. I'm not denying that. But keep in mind that the number 2 and number 4 guys in our system are not your typical number 2 and number 4 guys in another system. So we did give up, I like Richardson a lot more than Kay. I think Kay is kind of, he's had a good year. He had a really good year in AA, has kind of struggled in AAA. But he, to me, strikes me as more of a back-end starter, whereas Richardson could be a bullpen guy, but he has the potential to be a really interesting player going forward. But regardless, with the actions of my Mets, not trading Zach Wheeler, not trading Noah Syndergaard, not trading Todd Frazier, not trading anybody from the bullpen, clearly they're not necessarily going all out how they say they are, which is a whole other topic, but they want to see what this rotation that they've just put together can do. 5 wins in a row now, 5 games out of the wild card in the National League, and suddenly you have a pitching rotation of Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard, Zach Wheeler, Steven Matz, and Marcus Stroman. It's one of the best rotations top to bottom in the MLB. So if you're the Mets, you're thinking you can get a little bit of offense from guys like Ahmed Rosario, who's red hot, Michael Conforto, who's getting there. Obviously, Jeff McNeil and Pete Alonso have been doing it all year. It's not a terrible idea. Now, it's very important to remember with the Mets that their bullpen has killed them all year long. So that also remains to be seen how that works out. But regardless, the Mets, at least for their fans, for myself, I'm a Mets fan, they make it a little bit interesting. They put together one of the better top-to-bottom rotations in the major leagues. And Brodie Van Wagenen basically adopts the idea of, let's see what happens. And you know what? Let's see what happens. We've won 5 in a row, and maybe, we catch lightning in a bottle for the rest of the season. For the Blue Jays, though, I feel like they got a pretty good return. It sounds like they kind of took a good offer when they could. They didn't necessarily want to trade Stroman within the division to like the Red Sox or especially the Yankees. So that's something to definitely keep noted. My cat is meowing in the background, so clearly, wow, he's really going off. Maybe he wishes the Yankees got Stroman in. We'll get into the Yankees here. I'm a Mets fan, but obviously since I live in New York, I'm surrounded by Yankee fans, my friends, even some family members. If I'm a Yankee fan right now, I am a little bit disappointed. I'm not fully disappointed. I've seen a lot of Yankee fans on Twitter freaking out. Brian Cashman is the number 1 trend in my area right now. And I wouldn't go that far. I don't think that Brian Cashman, first of all, the guy has a ridiculous track record as a general manager in the major leagues. So, I mean, you can say what you want about Brian Cashman, but his legacy is cemented already to me. The guy has been killing it for years, been stealing players left and right. Look at guys like Luke Voit who are in the lineup. Aaron Hicks. Now he's getting something out of Gio Urshela. I mean, this organization has done that year in and year out. That being said, if I'm a Yankee fan, I'm looking at a team that's pretty much 30 games over 500, yet is not a top 2 contender for the World Series. I mean, realistically, right now, with the way all the rosters in the major leagues are formed, you're definitely putting the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers over the Yankees right now. And I'm not sure I would put another team over them, but those two are definitely over them in my mind. I don't really have to think very long about it. It was also very clear to everyone that the Yankees' issue was their rotation, and that's something that they failed to address. You could say they're basically adding pieces like Luis Severino and Devi Garcia in the coming months. Perhaps Garcia gets called up, perhaps he doesn't. Perhaps Severino comes back from an injury very solid, perhaps he doesn't. But, I wasn't expecting them to trade for a huge arm like a Noah Syndergaard, but making a more lucrative offer for a guy like Zach Wheeler or Robbie Ray sounds like they offered a lot, but were kind of reluctant to give up their top prospects like Garcia and Florial. At some point in any team that's 30 games over 500 and is trying to win a World Series, you're going to have to part with prospect capital. That's just what you have to do. And today we found out that the Astros are willing to do that, and the Yankees weren't. And all that's left now is to see how that plays out for both of those teams in the American League. and then see how the National League shakes out as well, with teams like the Dodgers not making many moves, while the Braves went out there and solidified their team a little bit. Anyway, that's it for my trade deadline video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm back on the videos. I'm not sure what my next video is going to be or when it is, to be honest, but we'll find out. Anyway, thank you guys for watching once again, and I'll see you guys later.